This is Eric Weiser recording in the northern Bahama area on the Bimini Islands, and this is the survey area I've been looking at. And I'm going to go from south to north and give a tour of what I've found so far. And this is the murkiest part of the southern portion of it that I can find. This looks like a fish that's swimming again, but it's under so much coverage that it's hard to figure out what's going on. And this area right here, this mound right here, is being pointed at by the hand that's pointing towards it for some reason, the ingress hand, which determines the ingress. And then we come up here to the fish and the snake portion, and this is basically the layout for the main area, the wall area, and then the center, the one side of the ingress. And then we come up here, and this whole thing seems to be a giant fractal that they're using to measure things in line of sight. And then we end up with the hand that's pointing, and this is the beginning of the ingress. We have both sides of the ingress at this point. They also created a portion over here that looks like Florida, and using the angle of the coastline, it follows the outer wall, gives the angle of the outer wall, the diameter of the outer wall. And you come up further north. We're going north. We're going northeast at this point. We end up in the most busiest area. And this is with the fish here and the swimming creature. And these things look like other swimming creatures. This is obviously the shark mound. And this is another one. It looks like another swimming creature. And all these mounds seem to be used for positioning. The more I look, the more she seems to have other purposes that they just use for line of sight. And I cleaned it up just to make this digestible. And this is the area that points towards if you go out here, this is the area that points towards the Bimini Wall. And you have the angles. This one points directly towards the Bimini Wall. And then you have this one that points to this, what looks to be another parallel canal right here. And so you can see it's parallel to, this one's parallel. When I mean parallel, it's parallel to the Bimini Wall. And then this, again, is following the outer wall. And then we have the ingress. And then these 2 points, this one right here and this one right here, are going to do the inner circular area. A very complicated way of actually doing line of sight for building. And I imagine they would have had more of them along the way out in here. All right, you can see I wanted to show this where I drew it out and I'm off, and the angles from the mounds actually showed how much I'm off, and they're more precise than me eyeballing things. And so X marks the spot, and I want to show you the X. So here's the ingress. If people haven't seen the ingress, again, here's the ingress, and I measured it out. It does come to 300 feet, just like Plato has described. There's the shadow of what looks like to be the old ingress, and Now going out southeast, we're going to go to Andros, I believe it's called. And there's only one thing that I found out here of interest in Andros. And that was, again, this similar design. They always have the kind of like squiggly tail to them. And I only found this one. There's probably more, but there's all kinds of dense, so much stuff growing up around it. It's the only one I could find in the points. It does the same kind of angle, and that's a substantially different angle than the others on the other side in the Bimini area. And but I imagine there's a lot more if you could actually see them. And if we go back, there's the parallel, almost looks like a canal going in that direction. And you see so far how it works. It's a very complicated way of laying out designs for giant architecture, and then they added the sculpture artistic aspect to it, which seems to be more complicated. And that's my tour for today of what I have found so far. Thanks.